lost all control. Gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She comes with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's version of, or edition of the Night Terrors on the Paranormal Portal. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are good. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with myself here. I kind of hit the ground running tonight. A lot of holiday preparations going on, a lot of stuff in the hopper. So it's kind of a hectic pace, I think, for all of us anymore. So, we're just doing what we can to keep up, caught up with ourselves and to make sure that we're got everything cooking at the right opportunities that we need to, or everything makes sense. But yeah, I just kind of flew in here. I was like, oh man, I lost track of time, and kind of flew into the studio here and got all set up, and here I am. So that's why I'm just kind of flaked out here. But I hope you guys are good. Happy Monday night. You made it through Monday. You got that going for you. Everything is moving towards the holidays, and I hope you guys are all ready and you're not all stressed out, or you're not all bummed out or whatever. I know the holidays are pretty supercharged emotionally. Either it's really good or it's really bad. There's not a lot in between. Well, maybe there's a bunch in between, but for me, it's either been really great on the holidays or it's really sucked on the holidays. I can't remember any just holidays. But maybe that's just me. I can only see the world through my own portal, so to speak. But I meant like a ship's portal. But yeah, it kind of fits for the show. I do that all the time. It sounds like I've got this stuff planned out, but that stuff just dribbles out of my mouth. But hello to you, Daniela. Good to see you, my lady. Hope you had a good show tonight. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to stop over and see what you guys had cooked up tonight, but just been busy. And hello to all the rest of you. Great to see you guys rolling into the show, and just know that I love you all dearly. I've been getting tons of messages and emails and people reaching out. It's just been great. A lot of people reaching out to be on the podcast, which is really exciting. I'm very glad that people are reaching out to be on the podcast, because those are my favorite podcasts. Those are my favorite anythings, really, as far as even YouTube or podcast or whatever. But I've really had a lot of fun interviewing a lot of new people. Today's podcast, I think, was a great episode. It was Glenn from Tennessee. It was a great time, and just a nice, really nice guy. But he's had just such an amazing amount of experiences. And if you haven't heard today's podcast, please check it out. You're going to be excited that you did, because if you are a fan of the paranormal, you're going to love this podcast, because this guy has had experience living in a haunted house. He's had experience with demons as he's an outreach minister and has been involved in exorcisms. He's had experience with UFOs. He's witnessed on a couple occasions, right up close and personal. And he's had experience with Bigfoot. And those kind of stories actually make me feel better, because I always thought, I wonder if people really truly can believe that I've experienced the things that I have, because it sounds just really convenient. Like, oh, you got a paranormal show and you've experienced everything. Okay. Because to me, it just I felt like, are people really going to believe this, that I've really truly experienced these things? And quite honestly, everybody's been extraordinarily accepting and supportive, which I really and truly appreciate, because I promise you in the depths of my soul that everything I've claimed to you that I've experienced, I truly have. But I can see how such a vast amount of experiences can sound like, oh, really? You've had all of that? So I get it, but it is actually the truth. And for whatever reason, and perhaps it's the individual that attracts the activity. I don't know. I can't pretend to know. Perhaps it's something to do with how we resonate in our worlds that make activity more likely to happen. I don't know. I have a ton of theories about this, ton of ideas about it, but I can't say. But Glenn's episode today was really great. Everybody that's done an episode with me has been phenomenal. And I've really enjoyed every conversation that I've had. And just some amazingly wonderful people. So definitely check it out. You can find it on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Spotify. If you go to their podcast sections on any of those apps, you will find the Paranormal Portal. And you can check out the episode for yourself. My goodness, we already got a call. So I guess we should get to this call. Just 1 second here. As I try to find my mouse, there it is. Hello, area code 531. You're on the air.
Hey, Brent, it's Sage. How are you?
Hi, Sage. I'm good, thanks. You're getting a head start tonight.
I'm calling because after I talked to you, once again, my phone died, and this is the only way that I can get a hold of anyone, including Marlena and all of the people that I talk to. And I just found out that I'm not going to be able to get a hold of anybody for about 2 to 3 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So, so I looked at the time and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know your schedule. Like, I haven't been able to listen to the show or
Sure.
I'm completely cut off of everything that's going on.
Okay.
Right now.
No worries. We are
So,
just starting the show.
yeah,
But that's fine.
So I wanted to call you and first of all, wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And tell you guys all that I love you so much, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful holiday. And I love you all so much. And I saw the time, and so I wanted to pick whoever's phone that I had up and make sure that I called, because I didn't know what your schedule was going to be.
Okay.
But that was it. I don't have any means to be able to be a part of it for a while.
Well, I hope you'll come back and check out the replays when you are able to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and absolutely, yeah. Like, my phone is just—it's gone. Like, it's
Okay.
just it's like my contact is just. So, can someone in the chat, like maybe Deborah, or somebody in the mods, if Marlena isn't in there? I know. I'm sorry. This is odd to ask, but she's in South Africa. If she's not already in there, can you guys make sure that she knows I'm safe, and I wish her a Merry Christmas, and everybody else that is on the other time zone. I wish them a Merry Christmas. I just know that I think it's Christmas Eve on their side.
Okay. All right. Well, sure, somebody will pass it on. But
I know it's such a weird call. I know it's I just can't get a hold of me. I can't get a hold of you guys.
I can be a secretary too, I suppose. So, all right, Sage, thanks for calling in, my dear.
Well, and I love you guys.
Oh, we love you too. And you have a wonderful
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
All right, and our best to you and yours.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay, see ya. All right. Well, there you have it. I don't know if Marilyn is in here, but I'll have a memo posted behind me on the wall here. All right, guys. So I hope you're ready, because it's time for bed. All right, that brings us completely underway, I think, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll get started here on the Paranormal Portal. What portal? Oh yeah. That's right. Thank you, Julia. I forgot to repeat that last night. As a matter of fact, remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to take advantage, Don and I thought it'd be great as a way to say thank you to all of you guys out there and help those of you who might be on the fence about getting some paranormal portal gear of your own. We're offering a 15% discount if you use the coupon code Portal 2020. Portal is all capitalized, PORTAL 2020. And you can use that for a discount on our site over here. So if you go and you'll do the checkout, and whoops, that's not the one. Wrong one. You can get, when you do the checkout, just look for the coupon code area and you can enter the code Portal 2020. And that will give you 15% discount off of all the portal gear that you see pictured here. And the link, of course, is in the description, but the website is teespring.com/stores/paranormal-portal. So we hope you'll check it out, and it goes a long way to help support us here on the show. Just wanted to take a moment and say thank you. We've been getting some cards. I got a great card from Taz, and it was very sweet. It says thank you for all the joy, laughter, and love you give. Your friendship is very much appreciated, and thanks for showing the world the unknown and your adorable family, and for sharing you with us. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Taz. That was so beautiful. I really appreciate it. And I got another one, and this one just came from Linda, and Linda said, "'Tis the season to bundle up and have a merry one. Merry Christmas. Please share my greetings with Don. I don't have his address. Love you too, Scott and Linda." So thank you guys. I appreciate that. I've got a whole collection of cards that listeners have sent in. And if you ever want to send a card, just let me know. Give me a private message on Facebook. And I'm not real freaky about my address because, I mean, I don't know. I'm not like a huge celebrity and have to worry about stuff like that. I think we're all, we're all decent people. And unless you're really creepy, if you're a creepy person and you know you're a creepy person, please don't ask me for my address. But if you know you're a good person, then by all means. I love getting cards and mail and stuff from people that want to share, and it means the worlds to me. What camera, Julia? It says camera, Brent. What's going on? What did I miss? Oh, where's my face? Oh, did I stay on I stayed on the Teespring site. Yeah, sorry about that. I mean, I was just reading the cards anyway. You would have just seen a picture of me reading a card. So, if you can imagine that in your head, it'll be just the same. Also, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the Paranormal Portal, Paranormal Researcher Investigation Journal. I got to get the title right of my own book. Jesus. This is a journal we've set up to help people in their paranormal investigating, hopefully to help organize and catalog information on each investigation. I can't tell you how important that is. If you're seriously into investigating or want to be, it's going to be important for you to have some structure to how you record data, so you have collaborative sets, and you've got to have your data sets aligned, and you got to be able to compare data from during an investigation to before of an investigation, so you can definitely ascertain whether there's anomalous activity or not. So this is available on Amazon. If you look for Paranormal Portal, Paranormal Investigation Journal, you will find this. Got it right back here on the stand, but I will show you the webpage for that as well. It's just our attempt to help people that are trying to get out there and investigate and want to get get a good foot on the ground, or be able to record their information professionally as well. I think there's a lot of people jumping into paranormal investigating, but they think it's just a matter of running around with recorders and cameras and just running through a house and asking questions. But there's so much more to it if you're going to do it right. And I think this is an important thing. Hopefully you guys will all agree, but if you don't, you don't. That's okay. But it's out there. It's available on Amazon, amazon.com. So you can check it out if you're so inclined. And that goes a long way. Everything goes a long way to helping us here on the show. 2020, we're planning a big year for the show, and it's going to take a lot for us to accomplish the vision that we have for what the show will become. And so yeah, every little bit helps. So whatever you're able to do, that's wonderful. Okay, so let's get going. Are there pictures? There are no pictures, Cha-Cha. However, we'll have a paranormal research and coloring book coming soon. Just got to stay in the lines. No, I'm just kidding. That sounded kind of mean. I know it sounded... I didn't mean it in a degrading way. I'm sorry. Because you just said pictures, and it made me think of my kid. So, whatever. I'm tripping all over myself now. Hetty says, Brand, what does your Christmas look like? It looks warm and melty, which is nice. This is a good Christmas, Hetty. Thank you for asking. And I also have a tree that has lights on it and stuff. It's just going to be just myself and the minion and the missus and hopefully some good food. I don't know. It's not a huge get together here for us. We're a long way from home. And home, of course, is Minnesota. That's where I'm from. And that's where my family is. So unfortunately, I won't be there with them, but we will be in spirit. So that's what Christmas looks like for us. But thank you for asking. I think I'm probably good. What? Oh yeah, thanks, Julia. Julia's always doing a great. What's the wife up to this holiday? She's up to. I don't know. She's always crocheting and doing baking cookies and stuff. I mean, she's a creative soul. She's doing lots of different stuff. She's crafting stuff all the time. In fact, her YouTube channel is probably going to pass ours. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. So, and I'm really proud of that for her, but it's also like, wow, I've been at this 3 years and she's knitting scarves and stuff, and that's a big hit on YouTube apparently. But I'm just kidding. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. I'm very, very happy for her. She's worked very hard at it and does an amazing job. Don't get me wrong, but it's pretty incredible. She's only been at it for just a few months, and it's just poof. So anyway, what do you do? Okay, this is not about paranormal stuff. Let's get to the paranormal stuff, which all of you guys tuned in for. The first story I got for you guys tonight is coming from Michigan. Why does it feel like I'm like coming at this show sideways today? It just feels kind of awkward for some reason. I don't know why. I just grab a crystal. Try to get my chakras aligned. That was a very bad Scottish accent, but it's the only one I know how to do. So let's try that. We're going to go to the state of Michigan, ladies and gentlemen, and see what's going on. I'm just watching the chat just in case I missed anything else. All right, Michigan. I got family there, by the way. Well, they used to be there. They are no longer there, but Michigan's always a part of them. It says, my mother, myself, my sister, and my autistic brother had just moved into a house in Hazel Park, Michigan. The house seemed okay at first, but there were just times where we heard weird noises, and I wasn't the only one. The rest of the family had mentioned that they heard things as well. Our house had an attic, and it creeped me out really bad, and I never went in it. It had one of those pull-down ladders. Well, one night my brother and sister were sleeping, and my mother and I were sitting on the couch talking, and all of a sudden I heard what sounded like someone wearing boots walking down the hall towards us. The house had wooden floors and made noises, and this was a distinguishable noise. You know, I don't know what it is about that footstep thing. I don't know. I mean, it certainly can be residual. It can just be a sound that was recorded for some reason. Maybe somebody was really agitated and worked up and was pacing, and so you get the footstep things. However, I think it can also be a very strong sign of an intelligent haunt of something trying to unnerve people. For some reason or somehow, they can create the anomalies of sound. And it's very bizarre because as I think about it, ghosts don't have masks in the traditional sense. I mean, they don't have a mask like we do. Why boots? I mean, are they ghostly boots? Do they have boots? Do they have clothes? Or do they just appear like they do? And I think they just appear like they do. But I think they can simulate masks But I often wonder if those footsteps are actually audible, as in happening in all cases, or can they just be auditory hallucinations induced by spirits? Now, I will say that many researchers have left recorders going in haunted spaces, when nobody is present, and they do indeed record footsteps as well. So it seems to be a very physical sound that is emitted, but how is it emitted? I don't know. It's one of those curiosities, and it's a very basic kind of question, but the ramifications of it are very profound. How do they create auditory anomalies? Are they able to vibrate the sound atoms to create waves that can sound like whatever they want? I don't know. It's very strange, but it is a very real phenomena that really does happen. Could it be some kind of a time issue? I don't know. Maybe echoes from a different time. I don't know. It just gets really profound and really bizarre, but there's a lot of questions, even in something simple as just disembodied footsteps. What is going on? How is that happening? It sounds just like boots on wood floors, the ones that I've heard. I've heard recordings sounds exactly like it, or boots on brick in some EVPs that were captured outside of footsteps. And the researchers claim absolutely nobody was present making those sounds physically, but there they are. So how are they manifested? Are they manifested at all? Yeah. Well, they are, because they're being recorded, or the same phenomena that can give people auditory hallucinations may work on the magnets in a microphone the same way. They may be able to manipulate that. I don't know. It sounds, I don't know. It's probably more that they can create sound somehow, but they don't have a physical mass to do it. So it's got to be an energetic act. And therefore, if it is intelligent, it's got to be meant to make people uncomfortable. Like, I'm walking towards you, you can't see me. Ooh, doesn't that freak you out? Don't you feel weak? And I don't know that it's always a negative thing either, but it certainly is unusual. But whatever the case. Our house had an attic, and it creeped me out really bad. I never went in it. Wait, I already read that one. Let me go. I tilted my head to look towards the hall as our couch was at an angle where you could see down the hallway, and I didn't see anything. I asked my mom if she heard it, and she said that she did. I stopped, and we continued to converse. About 5 minutes later, the same noise started again, and this time it sounded like it was getting closer and closer, and I freaked out. I told my mom to get my sister and brother and that we were getting the heck out of there. We woke everyone up and told them to come on. My sister was asking what was going on, and I told her just to get in the car and we'd explain once we were out of there. We told her what happened, and she believed us a little bit. We drove around for about 2 hours before deciding to go back. We honestly thought that a real person, like someone homeless, was living in our attic, and I finally agreed to go back. And when we pulled in the driveway, a sense of fear was overcoming me again. My mom went in the house first, looked around, and came back out, and she said she didn't hear or see anything. And we would have called the cops in case it was a real person, but we didn't see anyone. We only heard the sounds and other frightening paranormal things happening before. So I got up the courage to go back inside, and the minute I put a foot in the house, a loud bang sounded over my head in the attic. At that second, I screamed and ran out of the house, jumped in the car, and locked the doors. My mom told me to unlock the car door, and she opened it to see why I was screamed, and she noticed how scared I was, and I was shaking extremely bad, and I went up into a panic attack. Well, she decided it was best that we stayed somewhere else that night, and we ended up sleeping at my grandmother's house. I probably wouldn't have been so scared, but so many other things had happened in that house, and as I said in my profile, I've experienced paranormal things all my life, but nothing like that time. To me, that house was evil. And there was a day when I was in the bedroom with my friend, and suddenly I felt strangled. I was choking, and when my friend screamed for my mom rushed in the room. Obviously, no one had really choked me, but I did have a handprint on my throat. There's many times where I feel the presence, but I usually just ignore it, and I don't think anything of it. However, there are times, like the ones mentioned above, where I have a really bad feeling and I'm very afraid and the presence feels evil. And that's one of my real experiences. And I'll share more in the future. That's horribly frightening. Very frightening. I don't know. Physically being attacked, I think, is incredibly unnerving. And I think I can't believe that a spirit just randomly wants to kill somebody. But I would suspect that there's something about this person that wrote that maybe reminded the spirit of someone during their lifetime. I don't know. Or that's a very broken and disturbed spirit, and it may have done some very evil things in his lifetime. I say his because I don't know. I just assume the sound of the footsteps and everything didn't sound like, to me as I was reading it, it didn't sound like what you would imagine a female walking to sound like. But I could be wrong. But whatever the case, something horrible must have happened, or that spirit must have done something horrible during its lifetime. I don't know. I try to understand these things, and I usually can't. I don't know what to make of it. It's very strange. I say I don't know a lot, but it's true. I mean, who can know? Who can know these things really? There's a lot of people that claim to, but I mean, I guess maybe one of the psychic people can know, but I certainly don't know. All right, we're going to Kentucky. A few days go by and everything seems to be pretty calm. Then out of nowhere, my son is riding a toy choo-choo straight down all the stairs to the bottom of the bedroom basement floor, which is concrete all the way. I ran as fast as I could, and I just knew my child was hurt horribly. But no, he was in perfect condition. I truly believe that something saved him. And there were at least 12 to 15 steps straight down. Most people would agree with me that at least a scratch would have been normal. But he had absolutely nothing. I'm going to try to explain this, and I feel there were 3 ghosts, spirits, or something in this house. First, the old man I had mentioned in another story, Elwood Hart. Okay, I don't know which story that is. I think that sounds familiar, though. We apparently must have read it at one point. And at this point, I would like to introduce the ghost that would talk to me. My daughter got alcohol in her eyes, and I have no clue how this happened. I didn't have to get up for work on this particular day, so when I heard the voice say, "Leah, Alex is hurt, come quick," I just thought it was Barb. I was being a little lazy, and I knew from experience that Barb knew how to help. I knew if she couldn't help, she'd be yelling at me again, so I waited to see if she could fix what was going on, and nothing else was said, and she took the kids to school and let me sleep in. When the kids got back from school, Barb and Alex were talking about what happened, and I said, "Is that when you all were yelling at me?" And they both looked at each other puzzled and said, "We never yelled at you." At this point, I thought I was going mental. I'm not really sure how to describe the third spirit. This thing is just evil. It would watch us and scare us, and I believe that this thing was what I was most freaked out over. I have a tanning bed in my room, and as I described before, I would get in and feel something staring at me. And it was a feeling like something wanted to hurt me. Barb would feel the same thing, as well as a few other friends of mine who'd come up to lie down, and we'd sit and talk to each other while the other person was in the bed, and I thought that it must be the kids, so I had a lock put on my bedroom door, and then the feeling was even stronger, like it had me trapped or something. One night, Barb was in the living room, and my dining room table chair pulled it out on its own. She said she looked over to the chair but ignored it. She knew it was the old man. Still, I think it would have been a little more tripped out on that one. A few weeks later, my mom came to stay with Barb and me, and I had to go out of town on a business matter, and Mom and Barb decided to go out, and Mom said that she laid down on my bed, went upstairs yet again. It sounded like the TV was being thrown to the floor. Enough so that my mom said she sat straight up in bed. She looked at Barb, who turned and said, "Yeah, I heard it too." And I asked them what it was, and they both told me that they didn't go check it out. And I asked why not, and it could have been someone robbing the place, and Mom says, "I figured that whatever it was it would get Barb first because she was still awake. We had a laugh, but again, the next morning when they went upstairs, everything was in its place. Nothing was wrong with the house. By this time, the front door was opening on its own. We'd go and put the key in, and I guess that whatever was in there decided to just open it up for us. Barb and I were so scared that we would not go to the house alone after dark. If one or the other had plans, well, let's just say neither of us stayed there by ourselves. To all of you who have posted, I'll try and post back. I'm new to this. Be patient with the old one. Blessed be. Huh. That's a part 2. I don't remember part 1, but apparently I'm sure we read it because I've been doing these stories pretty chronologically in their database. So I'm sure we did at some point. All right. So this one's coming from Tennessee. Am I missing anything? I don't know. I feel like I'm missing a lot today. I'm just a bit out of sorts today, and I don't know why. Nothing bad. Not feeling ill or anything. Just feel like I'm. I don't know. There's something awry. In a sense, could just be the holidays coming and being far away from home. I do miss my family. I think that family is important, but I'm glad I got you guys because I believe that, this holiday I think is pretty sacred for family. But I won't see my 2 oldest sons either, and that's always tough. I always miss them terribly. Let me just light some sage here, or some incense, as it were. I guess it's frankincense. It's not sage. But let's see if it can cheer it up a bit. Just feels heavy tonight. If you get heavy vibes, I don't know. I guess it's important to cleanse and do cleansing things, and certainly incense is one of those cleansing things if you believe in that. And I think even if you don't believe in it, but I know some people may be like, what, do you burn a stick and it makes you happy? Well, just remember that energy always follows intention. Energy follows intention. So, and that's part of manifestation. We manifest things around us. And so sometimes, just like everything else, and we've covered this on the show many times, but whenever there's an emotional charge, and an emotional charge will build up all by itself, just naturally, just by living in a space. You hope that it's mostly a positive charge, but sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're angry, sometimes we're, out of sorts, and all of that builds up. So I think it's just always a good idea to try to cleanse and to knock that down and kind of baseline it. It's kind of like any of you that have internet, and I assume you all do because you're sitting here watching me. If you have a router, you can have the greatest router in the world, but every once in a while, it gets flaky. Things just get flaky, and you've got to unplug the router and replug it in, and then everything works fine. And I think that's kind of synonymous with life. It's just like sometimes we got to unplug our routers, and that's kind of what cleansing does. It just unplugs it, and we got to baseline it out and reboot, and hopefully that'll make things, lighter and better. I always do look forward to the shows, and I really do look forward to being here with you guys, but I always kind of feel bad if I don't feel like I'm giving you the best show that I could and should be. So my apologies if tonight just feels a little more awkward. It does for me, and I'm not really sure what that means or where it's coming from, but it's just, again, it could just be the season. And nothing is wrong. I mean, nothing at all is wrong. Everything is going really pretty well, and I'm very happy. But there's just, I guess there's always something, right? So we all get through it as best as we can. Too much sugar, Brent? No, I don't really eat too much sugar. I do mostly kind of a keto diet, so I'm not doing sugar and carbs too much. A little bit, but I try to keep it within a certain measure, so that, I don't gain more weight. I'm hopefully losing weight. It seems like, like turtle slow right now, but I've wrecked my ankle somehow for weeks. And I'll just tell you guys a story. It's not something I've talked about on the show, but I've been hobbling for a few weeks now, maybe closer to a month, but a few weeks. And years ago, I didn't do anything real tragic or traumatic to it. Years ago, it's just suddenly I stood up. I was working IT for the college system, and I was pulling internet cable or network cable through a building. And I stood up and was stepped up on a ladder carrying a bundle of wire, and all of a sudden something popped in my ankle. And I'm like, oh, and I went down right to the ground, and it was miserable. Well, I dealt with it for as long as I could until I couldn't anymore. And then I went and got it checked out. And sure enough, I had ruptured a tendon in my foot. Now, it wasn't the Achilles tendon, but it was one that kind of goes off to the outside of the ankle. And allegedly is just as important as the Achilles tendon. But I had ruptured it, and it had tried to heal many times. And it just became this mass. So I went in and had a surgery to reconstruct it. And they used... they scraped it all down because I guess it was just a big mess of scar tissue and stuff. So they cleaned it up, and then they put a surgical mesh around it and got it all tucked back in, and it had been going great. And then all of a sudden, about a month ago, something just happened, and I didn't do anything. Suddenly my ankle just started collapsing, and I don't know why. I don't know what happened, but it's been about a month now of my ankle just not doing well at all. And I've been wrapping it and putting braces on it and trying to stay off it as much as I can. But that's been really frustrating me because, of course, it makes doing everything hard. It makes doing everything in your life hard, just like anything else. Like if you got a back problem, it just totally. If you don't have the ability to stand up or sit up straight or whatever, a back problem is debilitating. Well, an ankle problem isn't quite as debilitating, but it sure sucks. I have so many things that I would love to be doing that I can't do right now, and that I suppose is probably pretty frustrating. But it's a little autobiographical, but that's just something that I've been dealing with for a month now, and it's one of those things that I really don't want to deal with another surgery or anything. So I'm just hoping it'll heal up on its own. But it's certainly maddening. So anyway, that's just a little bit about what's been going on here that I've been wrestling with. But it's neither here nor there. I mean, we all have our hurdles and things we have to deal with. But this one sounds like a good story. It is from Tennessee. Much like our guest from today's podcast, Glenn from Tennessee. Well, this isn't Glenn's story, but it is also from Tennessee. So let's see what's going on here. It says, my husband and I have been fighting a lot recently. Ew. And that's when I noticed all these things going on in our house. Recently, we purchased a home and it needs a lot of work done to it. Trying to get it fixed, work, and take care of the kids has really been putting a strain on us. So we've been fighting more, and he's been going out with his friends more, and regardless if he's home or not, I sense things in our current house. I can hear music in my daughter's baby monitor, and I hear someone in my stepson's room. But recently, it's gotten much worse. Friday night after my husband left to go out, I felt like I was being watched. Well, I shrugged it off, figuring it was my grandfather, because he always comes to me when I need him the most, but I was wrong. After I got my daughter to sleep and put her in the crib, I noticed a figure standing in our kitchen. But as I came down the hall, it looked like it went out the back door. Well, I went to the door and it was still locked, and it never opened. Then I opened it and looked out, and nothing was there. It didn't look like a man or a woman, just kind of there. It was black, almost like a shadow. The next time I saw it, I heard Sammy, our dog, get up, and I looked down the hall to see if he was heading to the room. And when I looked down the hall into the living room, I saw this figure again. But it looked as if it was looking back at me. No eyes, no face, anything. And when I gasped, it moved around the corner and it was gone again. And I haven't seen it since. Also on Friday night, I was heading into my bedroom when I looked out the back door to find the figure the first time, and saw what appeared to be a cat walking into the bathroom. Our cat had to be put outside due to him spraying or marking his territory. Oh, I hate that when they do that. In our daughter's room because he had gotten sick and we didn't know with what. He stayed on the front porch and went prowling at night. One morning I noticed that he wasn't on the porch when I opened the front door, so I figured he went somewhere to die in peace. After about 2 days later, our neighbor came over and said that he hit our cat in his driveway, that he wouldn't move. I was distraught, but it was better than him suffering from whatever illness he had. Have you not heard of a vet? What the hell's going on? You get this cat. It's like, yeah, they got sick. Should we just put him out back? Take him to the vet. When I saw this back end and hind legs and tail of a cat walk into the bathroom, and I felt at ease that he came back. I didn't see him again until yesterday morning when I got up with my daughter and started to clean. I'd stopped for a minute and was watching television and felt something cold move in and out of my ankles. I looked down and saw him move in and out of my ankles and then disappear. I also heard him meowing all night long, like he was in the bathroom again. And that was where he had his litter box. Saturday, my husband and I got into probably the worst fight in a while. I was distraught when he left to go riding out with one of his friends, and I kept telling myself that everything will be okay as soon as we get our new house ready to move into. I finally got myself calmed down enough to watch some TV and play on our laptop. After about 30 of playing on the computer, I don't know, 30 what, minutes, hours, what? I just decided to put it away, and I was watching TV too much. I finally got into this new series on HBO, True Blood, and then I heard a voice in my ears saying, "It will be." I recognized the raspy voice with an accent. In a minute, it was my grandfather. I looked out of the corner of my eye expecting to see him, but he wasn't there, and I asked, "What will be? Will everything be okay when we move, or what?" I heard it again. "It will be." I was like, okay, I'll take it as it will be okay later on. Shortly after that, I heard him again. "Everything will be okay tomorrow. You just have to be strong." I was like, okay, I'll take your word for it. Yesterday was awesome. We didn't fight, and we talked about everything. I told him about the figure, and he told me to come on here and see what everyone else thought. And I also told him about Patches, our cat, that came back, and he said he figured that he would, considering he was my cat, and we had a great connection. I told him about my grandfather, and he looked at me and said, "No wonder you think he's a great man." It was great. It was great about everything, except neither one of us can explain the figure. He kept asking me if I felt threatened by it, and I told him I couldn't really tell. I was just wondering what it was or what it could be. Please help with this problem. Yeah, very strange. Again, this story is from 2008, ladies and gentlemen, so it's an old story, but that's very curious. It sounds like a whole lot of things going on there, but I don't know. Relationships are hard work. They really are. It's hard to, put up with someone for the rest of your life. And a lot of people can't do it, and that's understandable. Because, I don't know, it's like relationships are a lot of investment. And I don't know, I don't need to sit here and preach about relationships, but I just know I've had enough bad ones that, I know what it's like to struggle with problems, and it just doesn't seem like it'll ever end. And sometimes it ends in a different way, and sometimes you got to walk away, and those are tough. But it's if it's a difference between living unhappily or living, then you got to choose living, because a negative relationship just is always going to be negative. It's just if that's the way that you've lived for years and years and years, is treating people treating each other poorly, then chances are that's about as good as it's going to get. So, and that's a tough place, because it's hard to move past those things. All right, so that was that story. That was Tennessee. It was kind of oddly written, and I hope I did it justice, but I had to piece together a bunch of it as I was reading. So this one's a real short one, and it's coming from Tennessee again, so maybe this one's written better. It says, when I was pregnant with our son in 2001, I lived in a really small town, and we lived in a mobile home. And it was small but comfy for us at the time, and we did not own the home. We rented from a young couple who told us that the home had burned and they purchased and remodeled it. Well, one night I was sleeping and woke up suddenly to a loud lullaby playing, and I was staying up in bed, or I sat up in bed rather, and just sat there for a minute, hoping that it would stop. And then I woke my fiance and said, "Do you hear that loud music?" And he said he couldn't hear anything. Well, he went back to sleep, and finally it stopped, and I was able to go back to sleep. Well, this happened for about a week. The lullaby sounded like a music box, and I didn't have a music box. I did feel a presence there, but never seen anything. I'd like to know if anyone has experienced this and maybe tell me what it could mean. Well, you were pregnant. You were pregnant with a baby. And if it could have been something you're manifesting, it could have been something that was manifested because you're pregnant. I don't know. But I don't think it's a negative thing. It says, I also watched doors open for me and I would say thank you. And it seemed that whatever was there wanted to comfort or take care of me while I was pregnant. I never said anything to the owners of the home because I didn't want them to think I was insane. I no longer live there, but have had other experiences at the place I live now, and I'll write about those later. Yeah, I think, again, most hauntings I don't think are negative. They're odd. It's kind of weird, but it sounds like someone is just happy you're going to have a baby. This one is from Georgia. Georgia. Oh my God, it's already almost time. Jesus, this will be the last one for the night. Oh, this is a long one too. You guys are getting a long last story, so I hope I read it well. I hope it closes the show well. God. Just one of those nights. All right, I'm currently 15 years old and have more experiences with ghosts than I care to. I don't understand if they're just attracted to me or if I've been seeing and hearing and imagining things since I was 8 and didn't even know what a ghost was. But I'm definitely like a beacon for them or something, and I think I've had the same ghost around me since I was 4, but I'm not sure sometimes. I guess what I came to tell my stories for is to see if anyone thinks it is my ghost or if I'm just mentally unstable. Unfortunately, that's a tough one, but I'll start at the beginning with my first encounter, I guess. Number 1, I was like 8 years old and I was sitting in one of those huge recliners in our old trailer in the living room, and my dad was lying on the couch taking a nap like always. And my mom wasn't home, and I don't know if I was watching cartoons or just sitting there. I don't really remember, but I turned my head sideways because I thought I saw something out of the corner of my eye, and there was a guy looking at me as he was walking from the hall. He walked into the kitchen and disappeared, and he was wearing a red shirt and red shorts, and he was blonde. And after I finished having my panic attack and regained control of my arms and legs, I ran over to my dad and woke him up and told him what happened, and he actually believed me. I slept with my mom from then on until I was like 11, and I'm a huge scaredy cat, and I couldn't sleep in a room alone. But about a year after that, I remember waking up and looking up in the middle of the night, and I saw the same guy at the edge of the bed praying. The thing is, though, he looked the same in every way except his clothes were all white at this time. And I'm not really sure if ghosts can change clothes or if it was a different guy with a strong resemblance. Of course, I was 9 and they could have nothing alike in my head. I just remembering thinking it's him again. Huh. Okay, 3. When we changed to a different bedroom because I couldn't deal with it anymore, nothing happened for about 2 years until one morning I woke up at the edge of the bed standing watching me. There was a man, a woman, and 2 kids, like a family. but none were my ghost, and they all had dark hair and looked like they were straight out of a movie based in the 1800s. Number 4. Ever since then, nothing out of place really ever happened. I mean, I haven't seen anything that I'm dead sure about. We moved to a new house and everything, and really weird stuff has been happening to me a lot lately. And this stuff will take longer to explain because it's so fresh in my mind. About a month ago, I was laying in bed and it felt like someone laid on top of me. I could feel their breath on my neck and everything, but no one was there. It felt like they had a grip on my arm too, because at one point my arm got jerked to my side and then the grip eased again, but remained noticeable. The very next night, the same thing happened, but I didn't really freak out too much because it was comforting somehow. I don't know why, but I felt safe. Right before I fell asleep, I felt whatever it was get up and literally walk across my bed. I jerked to see if the cat or something was in my room, walking on the bed, but nothing was there. And I could feel the bed dip as it walked and everything. Of course, I went to sleep with my mom, and at 15, I was really freaked out at this for some reason. Well, my mom sleeps on the couch in the living room because my dad developed some major snoring issues she can't sleep through, and I slept on the other end of it from her. In the middle of the night, I got shaken awake and felt someone on top of me again. The breathing and everything was back, so was the grip, and it was on my hand this time. Number 5, this is my last encounter, and it was last night. I sleep with music playing so I can't hear all the bumps and creaks in the night. Before I went to bed, I went to the bathroom, and this was the first place something happened. I was sitting there, and I have this light up thing on my counter, and it turned on and everything. And it doesn't turn on by the click of a button. There's a thing that you have to spin to turn it on. It's difficult even for me sometimes, but it came on, and I yanked the thing out of the wall. I went to tell my mom, and she told me I'd be fine, and I went back to bed. I had a dream that my music got turned off, and something yanked me out of bed, and I woke up. My music really was off, and it was on pause. And I was like, oh my goodness, I couldn't move. I prayed nothing was going to start pulling on me. Well, nothing did. I felt the same comforting person/thing lay on me once again, and I felt so okay all of a sudden. Then I thought, man, I wish my music was on, and there's no way I'm getting up to turn it on. The next thing I know, the music is playing once again, and I'm like, oh, my goodness, again, shaking, sweating, terrified. And then I felt the hand on my shoulder once again. I was comforted. Even comforted, I was still scared. I ran out to my mom, and I told her I'm sleeping out there. I slept out there, and she went back to my room and unplugged everything. And she was trying to prove I was insane, and it didn't work. In the middle of the night, around 3, I woke up, and I heard the radio being tuned in my room. A song I loved came on, and I fell back asleep, trying not to think about it. Then I woke up again, and it began to be tuned again. Once again, it landed on a station I liked. I was too terrified to tell my mom, so I somehow went back to sleep. And this morning, when she woke up for work, she told me to go sleep another hour in my room, and she helped me carry my stuff back there. And the radio was on, and she was like, what the heck? And I was like, I'm not nuts. And then here I am wondering what to do. I mean, it doesn't hate me. Everything it does is kind of nice and helping. But I'm really jumpy, and all this stuff kills my days because I wake up so tired and it prevents me from getting a good night's sleep. Wondering what will happen next. What should I do? Oh, man, that's a tough one. I guess you should get a hold of somebody. Get a hold of somebody to come in there and help you out. But let's see how we're doing here. I think we are at 54 minutes of show. I don't know. I guess that's about it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys liked it. I apologize if it was a little less energy tonight than normal. I just don't have as much energy, I guess. I don't know. Just a biorhythm. We all got them. We got good days and we got not as good days, but as long as it's the Paranormal Portal, I'm good. Thanks, Taco. I appreciate that. It means the world, you know. It really does. I heard that stay. Yeah, I did too. I just paused and waited for it to finish because, what do you do? I don't know. It comes up every night. I don't know why. I haven't checked all the connections though. It just could be something flaky, but I don't understand how come it's just once and then it's done. It's strange. It's so strange, but welcome to the portal where strange things live, including me. But again, everybody, I hope you have a great day. Tomorrow, I'm ready for a nap too. Merry Christmas. Hey, Tom. Yeah, and thanks for that. Thanks for the tips, Tom. I appreciate that. I just hope everyone in the chat room, I was having a discussion with Tom, and we were talking about the algorithm on YouTube, and quite honestly, comments are really important. So if you don't mind commenting on videos, not only in the chat but after the show is over, that would be great too, because apparently that really helps the score for the YouTube algorithm and should help more people hear the portal. So definitely comments are important. If you miss a show, definitely leave comments, have statements, whatever. It will help to raise the score of the episode so that maybe it'll get recommended more often. So again, Tom, thanks for that tips. I appreciate it. Engagement is huge. You are right, sir. Absolutely. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up for me. I love you all. I hope you have a great day tomorrow. Is tomorrow actually Christmas Eve? It is, isn't it? Yeah, tomorrow's Christmas Eve day. Wow. Happy Christmas Eve day to those of you who celebrate Christmas. And happy day before Christmas. Happy happy day before your day off to those that don't celebrate. Because I'm sure if you're working, you get the day off. For most of us do anyway. But all right, guys, that's going to do it. So have a wonderful day tomorrow, and I'll be waiting here at the end of it to give you another Night Terrors on Christmas Eve. All right, love you all. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in every day, and remember to laugh as much as you can. Good night, everybody, and sweet dreams.